Good morning. How's everybody? Today is our usual Thursday oil pastel session. What is today? 24th, right? Can you tell I'm just getting up? I will fully admit it. What I'm doing here is I'm getting the gunk off of that. This is just a pen towel. What I'm doing is just sketching it in with a hard pastel. And in this case, it happens to be a pen towel. They are easy to come by. They're not my favorite. I only use them for this purpose. I just remembered I got up to get something and I got distracted by the clock. I'll be right back. I need to get my mirror. Got it. I use it to get a different, I know it's not very clean, it's been well used. But I use it to look at the work, and then I get a reverse image, and it helps me see any errors I might be making on the oil pastel. So now that I got that in there, and the outline of what I have, I pulled out a few pastels here to just get started. I'm sure there's going to be other ones that I'll need, and I'll be doing some mixing. Sorry, I needed a drink of coffee. But this will get us started. That's more of a peachy. I don't really want peachy. Maybe a little this brighter yellow though. I'm gonna start with just some good old brown. And I don't know which brand this is because the label has long been gone. I've got another brown here that is a Paul Rubens. And I think that's just what they called it, was brown. It's not anything special and I'm just gonna start blocking things in. I want to start with the thinner one, or the less oily one, which is the harder pastel, like I always do. Because, and I know this is a repeat for people that are here regularly, but it's always a good reminder to start with the least oily to the most oily. I went down a little too far on that. That's okay. I went down too far here. That's all right. I can fix that. And I'm putting this down pretty thick because I like the mushy. I like to be able to scratch into it and that was Poncho. He's often heard in the background. he just took a drink of something. But it was too much for him. And I usually wear gloves. I don't know why I didn't put it on that hand. I usually put it on this hand when I'm oil painting and not on my right hand. What's everybody working on today? Is anybody doing some, I'm gonna go ahead and put this down. Is anybody doing some oil pastels? Or are you working on something completely different? Or are you just watching? Having your coffee, or whatever your drink of desire is. Desired drink of desire. This is an AI image that I created. Well, I use that term loosely, the created part. Let's see, I need to put, I've got some dark blue that I use for in the shadows, some like phthalo blue, and I'll be adding it. This is just the base color, just to get something down to work with. I keep hearing Connie Francis in my head. You know that one sound or one clip that everybody's using on TikTok? I need some, I think this might do it. I want to say mauve, but it's not really a mauve. I may have to mix in some. Yeah, that's too yellow. I will mix in some mauve with it. Some mauve. Mauve. I've heard it pronounced all different ways. I've always known it as mauve. But this is just a pale yellow, kind of a buttery yellow. And I'm going with those little streaks. I'm not worrying about them at the moment. As I said before, I kind of like the juiciness of things. So, where'd that one go? Here it is. See, this is more of a mauve. And I think if I mix that with that, it's going to tone it down. Yeah. And the point is not to get an exact copy of the photo, of the reference here. It is to get a piece that I'm happy with. I work for 2 hours. I work till noon. Hey, Horizon. Oh, am I? Up? Are you being a smart aleck? Thank you. I needed that reminder. I'll speak up. The phone that I use for my sound is right in front of my face, so I don't think about speaking up. Let's see, that's a nice. Oh, so I'll speak loudly and clearly like you're across the room. I don't know why I put that line there. What is that line there for? Heck if I know. Heck if I know. Horizon, what are you up to today? What is everybody up to? What's the 411? What's going on? I'm getting a new stove today. My stove gave out the other day, my cooking stove. It's gotta be 25 years old though. So she's had a good run. But I'm getting a new one this afternoon. After I'm done working on stuff, so I have sprints this afternoon and on my other channel. Oh, I didn't get that. I didn't get that over here. I know these colors are not exact, and I'm okay with that. I was gonna say, when you show this to people, if you show it to people, this reference photo is not going to be sitting there with it. It's going to be hello, Amit. How are you doing? Yeah, I've seen their stuff. It's pretty amazing. I need to go back and actually get their link. So I can, that's a little red. Red. Remember that song, Red Red Wine? Or am I the only one that's old enough to remember it? That's a little better. I've got some white out here. It's sitting over there. It looks like it's a beautiful day today outside here in Kansas. And you can see these pastels kind of mushing together. That's what I want. That's what I like. Started to say I'm kind of a mushy kind of gal. Then I realized, I guess I said it anyway, didn't I? I don't know why I stopped on that. Why did I stop on that? On the brown. The thing too is the reference image is to look like it's done in oil paint. what I did was I went to Canva and I said I need, you know, XYZ on their AI doohickey, and this was one of them that pulled up. I have trouble with ellipses, and I did this ellipse very quickly, so if it is off, it's off. There we go. Maybe a little better. I'll work with it and get it in there. We can do it. Yes, we can. Laura! I'm catching up on chat. Cool, you're setting up your planner, so you have everything mentally worked out anyway. Laura and I are in a group called Heart Breathings, is how we met from my sprints. And she is a writer. If you see, that's, I know that ellipse is off. I can't. It's not too bad. It's not terrible. But she is very talented. She's working on a book right now. A series, actually, I believe. We're also in Heart Breathings is also tends to have a lot of planners in it. People that plan, not not physical planners. Because Sarah Cannon that runs Heart Breathings, is a big planner. Planning person. Let me clarify. Oh. I'm using a very old desk drawing table. It's one I got when I was like 16, and I felt just something give on it. That's what my was. But I think it was on a seam where I had repaired it. So let's pray that's what it was anyway. Because this table means a lot to me. That's a whole other story. I just realized I didn't put the reference photo up. It might help you if you had that, huh? I'm getting the reference photo up so you can see it. Boof, boof, boof. And it's not wanting to show up. Well, you just be that way, you hear? Oh, it's because I picked the wrong one. I picked the wrong one. See, there it is. Painting from your video. Sweet. Yeah, it's a very old drawing table that we got from, I believe it was Sears and Roebuck. And the year I got it, my sister was starting college and she needed an electric typewriter. But my parents didn't want to spend that much money on her because back then they were expensive, and really expensive, and relatively speaking, and not spend that much on me. So they asked me ahead of time, hey, is this okay? Because she needs this for college, and but we can't afford to spend this much on both of you. Are you going to be okay with that? And the only thing I wanted was this drawing table. And I told him that. I said, as long as I get my drawing table, that's all I care about. She does need to have it. And I will say my parents always tried to be fair when it came to that type of thing. And come Christmas morning, I open it up and the top of it is all jacked. I was so upset. And my brother convinced me that I needed to send it back. As much as I wanted it right then and there, I had to send it back and get one that was not jacked up. And I've had it ever since. But that sister has since passed. And she and I were probably the closest of any of the kids. I think I can honestly say. My mom used to say she wished the other kids got along as well as we did. Well, my parents were very money conscious. We were not, my mother stayed home, and they were very open about how much money my dad made and how much certain bills were and whatnot. If I remember right, and now I was 16 when I got this, right? So 16? Well, if she was starting college, though, she would have been 18, so I would have been 14. Or maybe she was 19, I was 15. Anyway, anywho's, it's, there just wasn't a lot of money to go around. And my parents were were very good with their money, thankfully. There was no fighting over money or when they passed away. They left a little bit, and it was an overall accepted thought that they needed to spend as much of it and enjoy it while they could, and not worry about leaving us anything. I thought they'd travel, and, yeah, but no, they didn't. We try and stay close on stuff, and even with the grandkids, there's 8 grandkids, 9 now if I count a bonus one that may be coming on. I need to count him anyway, because I have a feeling he's going to be in our lives for a long time. And we try not to spend more on one grandchild than we do the others. It's very competitive among siblings to not be favored, or somebody not to be favored. Even though my brother was favored, that's okay. I'm just building these up. My brother was favored because my mother lost a baby, and this is like therapy. You really wanted to know all this. My mother lost a baby, and he was her rainbow baby. In his entire life, he could do no wrong. And if he did do wrong, boy, was it wrong. They held him accountable. It's just you could tell he was like the special one. That I don't think any of us, because you could tell too that they tried not to. You know what I mean? Even as an adult, if he got something, they would say, hey, is this okay? Because he needed something or other. Yeah, I think it depends too on how much money you have. Both my parents came from very, very, very poor, economically speaking, families. It was, there was no money. There was no, how much should you spend on so-and-so, because the money wasn't being spent. It was, it was very tough. I have stories from my dad, especially, that they both grew up, families knew each other. they can. There was a one about his older siblings, because he was next to the youngest. They needed money, and the older kids took a couple of cattle that they had and walked them to the stockyard, which was on the opposite side of town, and to sell them. And nobody had any money to buy them. Everybody was. So they had to walk them all the way back across town. He grew up in the town that I was raised in. I'm trying to get these colors a little closer. Yeah, my parents they tried to keep it even among their grandkids. So did my husband's family. They tried to keep it even anyway, and again, they didn't have a lot of money either. But with the great grandkids, they or grandkids, because mine are not biologically Bartons. I got my little Sharpie tool. Everybody was counted in the same. My kids were, to my mother and father-in-law, they were all their grandkids. They were good people. Now my brother-in-law and some of the other ones, not so much. Oops, a little dab right there. That almost looks more lavender there. Let's see. Yeah, I even remember my sister and I getting the exact same bicycle, because that's how. I love the texture this thing makes. I did this with the flowers the other day, and the background looked like lemon to me. I don't know if anybody else was as awed by it as I was, but I thought it was pretty darn cool. Yeah, and as soon as you could too, you got a job. If you wanted things besides the bare necessities. I can remember, yeah. I can remember way back when. I'm trying to get like this inside color better, if nothing else. I know this is a lot more bright, a lot brighter than what the reference is, but I'm kind of okay with that. We got so bad at Christmas presents, at snooping, that my mother devised a system where she put numbers on gifts. Instead of names, because we would snoop. And our quest every year was to find the list with the numbers on it. To see who had the biggest gift and who had the The only thing with using that scraper is it does leave a texture on the surface, and didn't want that one. I wanted, where is it? There it is. And it can be a little difficult to and we do the same thing. We try and spend the same amount. We have gotten a little carried away sometimes, but when you've got 8 or 9 kids to buy for, of all different ages, I'm looking at this in the yes, I'm using Mungios with these down here, and then there's a set of Paul Rubens up there in the corner. I've got them kind of layered. So I use them interchangeably anymore. I don't have the lip on the cup coming out. Come on, baby. I do that too much. Yeah, we had a meeting the other day and we had these invitations, and instead of sending them out to everybody, we just gave them out because it's like what, 78 cents for just a postage stamp. Not that our postal system doesn't earn it, but if you don't have to yeah, I've tried doing like e-cards, like for like thrift books and stuff, and then I've gone back and people haven't used them, which is infuriating. So I just, but I think it came back to just not being very tech oriented. They didn't know how to do it. They didn't know if it was real, or they didn't, yeah. We never even talked about it. I stay to myself pretty much these days. Especially since that one sister passed away. Nothing against my remaining family. I just, yeah. I'm a homebody. I'm a homebody. Ooh, that made me a little lighter than I wanted. How that light does that look on? Yeah, that looks bright orange. It's more of a subtle. I don't know, if you got brothers and sisters, you better appreciate them. Well, you got them. Of course, everybody's family's different. People say that, but then you might have had a really crappy sibling. And then I think all that does is make you feel guilty. I don't know if I want to keep this. I kind of like the brightness of it. In a way. I did start a new oil painting yesterday. I didn't get very far. It's just barely started. But I'm going to do it in sections on, let's see, that's too straight, on live. I'm going to make this come down a little further than what it does on because I want to. It's still too straight. That's a little better. Boy, that's bright, isn't it? Bright baby. I'm just getting another brown and cleaning it up. It's that Paul Rubens I showed earlier, and unfortunately I have pulled off, probably was right there, I have pulled off the actual name of it. Oh man, that sucks. I'm sorry, Laura. That's just, yeah. Did you say she was your, okay, yeah, she was your cousin. Well, that's yeah. Oh, sorry. That sucks. I don't think that's, I'm still not getting that right. That's closer anyway. I had cousins, but I was not really close to any of them. We had neighbors that I was really close to. They had 3 girls, and the oldest one was 1 year younger than me. And my sister and I spent a lot of time playing baseball, and we grew up across the street from a Catholic church, and so there was a big baseball field over there. So we played softball and kickball and all that over there. I'm not Catholic. Everybody always asks me that because our family's large. Yeah, I do. I do a lot of I wish I could, because she wanted to do more stuff together. And at the time I had just before she passed away, I'd had my 7th grandchild, and Mom was the grandchild's mother was in a tough spot. So we were very busy, very preoccupied with making sure that situation did not become catastrophic. And she was disappointed that I didn't do more things with her. And it wasn't in a mean way. It was just kind of man, this sucks. Because I would go down and She worked at Walmart. I would go down and meet her and some of her coworkers for lunch sometimes. And I couldn't do that so easily anymore. I would just run down. And we did go see Ray Dunn down in Oklahoma. And I have her ranch and all that. The mercantile. That was fun. I have a cup I bought that day. Where is that? Oh, it's on my regular desk. Sibling situations can be funny. I know at her funeral they were talking about my brother had Thanksgiving, and her husband had passed away at that time, just before, and I mean, it wasn't unusual for them to invite her over, but they invited her for Thanksgiving, and she was like, well, what can I bring? And of course they said, oh, just bring yourself, that's all you need to worry about. And they said she showed up with my brother's favorite pie and like 4 different types of, yeah. And the pie, he got it from a certain restaurant out of town, and she went and got it for him. I thought that was just, rather endearing. And it said a lot about her personality, that one little story. Oh, and I don't know how I got talking about my sister, but the 7th baby that was born, I may have already told this one, but I don't care. She had, my daughter's last name was Naff, and she had my parents convinced that she was going to name the baby Laugh. They called me up, totally serious, asking if it was true. So the baby's name would have been Laugh Naff. Or no, that was my 6th one. That wasn't yeah, that was, anyway, it was, yeah. Laugh Naff. Get some of this white in there. This is getting on there pretty thick, so it was NAFF. Yeah, they were both totally convinced. And I know I said at her funeral that her sense of humor was one thing that just, and my sister-in-law was like, I don't remember her doing it. Oh, let me tell you, there were all kinds of things. I'm seeing I'm missing like the under, the little that shows under there. You know what I'm saying? This little area. Just barely. You do have to be careful with AI images because I'm sure you've seen the photos of people with like 6 fingers on one hand. Yeah, let's see. I'm looking. Got a little crumb right there. You know, and I'm not. He's older. He's like 8 now, 8 or 9. And I'm not sure he knows that story. I'll have to. I need to make sure he knows that story. He's a cool kid. He's one of those that will text me of, hey, did you know, blah, 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 blah. Wentworth, what's... Okay, yeah, that's different. What was the one that had the baby the other day? And she named him something that was... I can't remember. It was all over online. What's her name? Or the baby's name? I'm seeing that yellow. I don't mind this like peachy color down here, but this gray up here, I need to tone down that yellow. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You can like use them up against each other and get lines and scrape things away. And I mean, you're using this stick of color. I kind of like that texture that shows up on there with this, just as it is, without blending. Yeah, see, that's bluer. I'll probably have to put another color on top of it. Okay, I got bluish, and I want to tone it down. So what color do I use? I use an orange or a brown, because it's opposite each other on the color wheel, right? I think that one's a little too, I think This might be too dark. What does that look like? Oh, that's not too bad. I did order another book that Pierre and I are wondering about. It should be coming tomorrow. Notice I said should. No, it won't be coming for a while because I got it through Thrift Books. I had all these affiliate links in my description of from Thrift Books and Amazon links, and hardly anybody used them. See, that looks kind of, that looks like a hot mess to me up here. I said I like that texture, but it's way too distracting. That helps. And this is just a shop towel. You know, those ones that, the blue ones that I think they're better known for being used by mechanics. See, it's still too. I don't like it. Let's see what we've got in our sommelier and all that might work. And Ohaya. I love Mahaya. These are made by Paul Rubens, in case you didn't know. And they're a little softer than what I've been using, than the Mungio and the regular Paul Rubens. Let's see if this is. It's a little green, but I think I'm gonna go with it though, because there's the reddish in the copper. And maybe that'll help. Blind you with color. Yeah, that's true. Especially like right in here, there's some on the reference, and I don't have much there. It's like it's reflecting back here. And I don't have the time is it? Oh, good. We've only been at it for about an hour. Just over an hour. So Let's see. I'm looking at these. Oh, there's a higher that hardly hasn't been used. How about that? I'm gonna use just a little bit of it. Maybe not. Let's see. What does that do? I like that better. Let's see how many times we can redo the background. This is more of a neutral. I like it better. Yeah. I can do my scratchy and give it a little texture. Really need to get just some tutorial type things up, and that's one reason I'm doing the portrait painting in steps. Ew, that looks kind of gross. Kind of looks like baby. Well, never mind. I won't say what it looks like. I listen to a lot of Jelly Roll and Shambuzi. I also listen to, like, I know this is weird because I just used it the other day on a video, on a short. But the old country. The Hank Williams Sr. and Johnny Cash. But I'm very eclectic on what I listen to. My favorite song right now is The Sound of Silence. Not the Simon and Garfunkel rendition, but the new one by, who was that? We were just talking about it the other day because it was sang by a heavy metal band. But they did such an awesome job. Yes, that's it. Yep, Disturbed. I love that rendition. But I used Hank Williams Sr. on a short yesterday. I don't know. Anyway, I used a short that I uploaded. The Hey Good Looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me? Hey, good looking. What you want? And for me, it's a memory thing too. My mom played old country that she didn't like Hank Williams Jr. or Willie Nelson. I think one time she said he looked like he needed a bath. I like Willie, but we do listen to Black Sabbath in this household, or we've been known to. Here's some of the other newer ones. That System of a Down. Oh, shoot, I can't remember. I sort of stalk my daughter's TikTok and see what music she listens to see what see what I might like, because she has very good taste, I think. Man, that is so bright on camera. It just doesn't look that bright to me on. Maybe I just need to, where's that brown? I need to tone down some of those. Trying to heat it up. I suppose because my hands aren't touching it, it's to kind of push it out. Let's tune down some of that. She doesn't like Jelly Roll. She says that she went when they were at a concert that he was there. She goes to music festivals, and he was the worst one. I like Jelly Roll, but I listen to the produced stuff. Chris Stapleton. Who's the other one? Small. What is his name? Man, that bugs me now. You know what? Even though it looks a little dirty, I think that helps. Tone it down. You can usually tell who I'm listening to if I do any portraits of them. Post Malone. Who's the other one? Shoot, he's got a teddy bear tattooed on his cheek. Or like a gummy bear. I'll tend to just put Spotify or Pandora. And put it on Jelly Roll, and it will play a lot of things that I like. It'll play a little Dax, although I'm not liking him as much here lately. I should probably get out the Sennelier and use them a little. Not that I don't like gospel, but Dax is getting a little too far over for. But I think it has to do with his sobriety. That is not light in there. It's actually dark. Teddy Swims. That's who I was trying to think of. What does this have to do with art? I don't know. It's just interesting to know what other people listen to. I tend to ramble, which is why I always have music queued up to play. Because I ramble. If there was one thing that you wanted to know more about on oil pastels, what would it be? And I say that with all earnest. That is too. That's funny. Yeah, I think the COVID really was like a relief to a lot of people that are introverted. You had a reason not to interact. I don't usually gab this much in person. I really don't. I'm usually very quiet for the most part. I go to meetings, I carry a notebook with me so I can make marks on paper or pretend like I'm making marks on paper. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm very, yeah. I'm very socially awkward, and put it that way. And it could be because you can't see my face. Then I'm like, and then because yeah, but by the end of the day, when I do these videos, I am spent. I don't like that. I don't like the okay, that looks red on yours and it's not on mine. Knock you back a little. I think I have to entertain you, and if I'm not talking, you'll get completely bored. I don't know, I've been hearing some scary stuff about Florida. Not to get too far into politics. I don't remember what it was yesterday that made me just say, damn. Oh, I think I know. It was the pregnant woman that her doctor refused to take care of her as a prenatal patient because she was not married. That it was against his beliefs. I think I'm going to use a little black. Maybe that'll help calm that down. No, this was, clear out my For You page every once in a while on TikTok to see things that I normally wouldn't see, put it that way. Because of that, I don't want to be in an echo chamber. Totally. I live in a very one-sided state, and all I have to do though is go to like the local news or the news out of Wichita and read comments, and I get my fill of the other or different viewpoints. Put it that way. It's an interesting world we live in. Sheer. Yeah. I listen to Hawk. I don't know if you know who that is. And he leans more to the left, but he's an attorney, which I know you can make things go either way with that too. But he's interesting. He and his brother. They will break things down. Is that helping at all? Maybe. Yeah, I'm definitely not in a liberal state. I have a lot of liberal friends. We tend to gravitate toward each other, I guess. Well, and one thing, a lot of people in the arts. Yeah. I talked to the, was it the CEO of Snopes at a library thingy, which was really cool. It was back in like 2016. We were learning how to provide our patrons with resources. You know, how to look up the resources on things. It was really interesting. Yeah. I mean, a lot of it, if you've gone to college, you already know, how to look up a reliable source, hopefully. but it was cool. This over here looks like it's poofing out. Yeah, I would think so. Kind of like Johnson County here is much more, which is where up by Kansas City in Manhattan area, the college or university towns are lean more to the left. Right now I'm learning about Project Esther. I'm trying to see if it's something that's an act, you know what I mean. Should I be concerned, or is it just people blowing smoke? Oh, I don't know what I'd do without my AC. I mean, I grew up without an AC. We didn't get an AC until same said sister had surgery, and she was wearing a body cast, and it was one of those beds, you know, that you flip, kind of, that rotate. And they got one so she would be a little bit more comfortable. I was just saying to my husband the other day, I can remember laying on the floor as a kid watching baseball, and sitting in front of a box fan, or laying in front of a box fan on the floor, watching the Kansas City Royals or St. Louis Cardinals. I don't know if this black is really helping, or if it's just giving it more. You know what I'm missing? Just down here, that whole shadow there. That's what I get for gabbing too much. I'm not paying attention. That's too light. Let's give it a little. That's more orangey too. Let's get some orange in there. That's, nope. And that's a Sennelier. Or a Haya. I'm trying to find the right, like, orangey. See, I think I tried this one. Maybe not. Still too light, but maybe if I gave it just a touch of this. I started out with, when I was younger, with soft pastel, and it was the convenience of it, because I didn't have to worry about it drying. And that was what I had available at the time. The only art supply, we had a little art supply store. It's a little craft store that I've talked about before. And Walmart. And that was it. That was what we had. And so I could get these sets of pastels from Walmart. And because I was still in high school, and I could work on stuff, leave it, and come back, and not worry about it being dried out or and if I wanted a replacement color, I had to buy a whole new set. There was no, like, these were cheap ones. I think they were Duro brand, Duro. They're really but we had a big fair in our town, as do most small farming country, and I entered one that it took me about 8 hours to do, which for me at that time was a lot. And I got Grand Champion when I was 16, and it was just like, oh my God. Because that was considered a big deal back then. We didn't have art galleries town. Or I had Artist Magazine, and that was it. Come do my laundry. Come do my laundry. Mine's sitting back there. Needs folded. I don't want to. Our focus has been on this darn stove here the last 48 hours or so. I went to cook a angel food cake and put it in the oven. And it never got hot. I'm looking at the reference photo and I think this needs to be darker. Black is too much, and the brown is not enough. Just makes it anyway. It was like, okay, maybe I'm onto something here when I did that, because I didn't know I'd won, and the judge called me on the phone and said, hey, did you know shock, because I was just a kid. Let's see if I can. But it was realistic, and the schools that I went to were very much postmodern. Come on, yeah. Keep going, leaning back, looking at what you're seeing on the screen. What time is it? Oh, it's almost 12. Yeah, I like soft pastels, Maybe I need to get them out. Well, see, I quit using them because of allergies, but I could always wear a mask. At least play with them. I would think. And the problem too with the soft pastels is they need to be framed, and just like these, I need to get things ready for a show next year. It's not that the show isn't like, ah, but I do need to have work for it, and I don't want to have to pay for frames for everything. Frames are not cheap. I feel like I'm getting it out of whack. Oops. And that needs to be a little warmer. Oops. This little highlight down here is shaped. I noticed David Kaysen has a couple of videos out, and I haven't watched him yet. If you're looking for like color theory and things of that nature, he is amazing. I'm not affiliated in any way other than I really like his work. He's a realist. He does representational art that is figurative. And he studied at the art, the Art Student League in New York. And he was fortunate enough to work under I don't know if he worked under Richard Smith or I'm trying to think of who the other one is that's like, but he worked under some very strong teachers. still don't like this. I don't like the, it just looks dirty to me. Maybe that'll help. Let's see what that does anyway. I'm not out anything, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And at least gets rid of most of that just kind of dirty look. To me anyway. If you don't have a clay tool like this, you can use a nail or a awl, A-W-L. Or you can get like polymer clay tools that are you can scrape with. There's silicone at the one tip. I've tried using them and I didn't really care for it. Some people like it though. But they have a tool on one end and then a said silicone earlier, didn't I? Silicone tip on the other end that you can kind of blend with. My voice is getting low again because I'm this is not right. Let's see, look. That's off. It's like it's not going with the shape of it like that. There's my brown. If I had the time, I would get out my mineral spirits for right there. And get that. I don't know, that peachy, this peachy looks out of place to me. It's 12 o'clock, but I'm gonna try and do something. Is that, yeah, I think that works better. And this is a Haya. I'm just gonna lay that in real quick. Yeah, I think that looks better. It's not so, it works, blends in with it overall a little better. I think more so than because that looked too lavender to me. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. The band on the cup, oh man, my hand's sweating. Sorry, TMI. The band on the cup is more gold. Ow. I'm gonna get my gold pastel just to kind of see if this works. Nope, you're not working. Maybe I'm just not meant to put this on there. Maybe this is the universe telling me to forget it. But it's so warm that I can kind of shape that into an edge. I don't know if that made that much difference anyway. I taped this last night, so let's hope it didn't doesn't stick to the paper too much. It's sticking to me. I could keep going on this and get it, yeah, it's stuck to the paper some, and get it more accurate. But unfortunately, we have to go with the study today because work for 2 hours in the studio today. Oh, that hurt. They pulled the paper up along this edge. Don't know. I guess if I don't know, it must not be too off. Oops. Okay. I think I'm gonna call that it. Thank you. I appreciate it. I do. I love oil pastels. I really do. I wish there was a better way to display them. I've seen people do it on canvas and then just seal it with simile. But I don't know. Oops. Yeah, I don't see why we couldn't try it though on one of these. I mean, what are we going to be at? A little time and some oil pastel? Okay, oil pastel live demo YouTube 24th, right? Yeah. AI reference image. Okay. Okie dokie, Smokey. Thank you for being here, y'all. I appreciate it. Seriously, y'all rock. If you haven't already, if you can like and subscribe, even if you just like play this again in the background for, while you're doing something else, it all adds up. And I'm looking at this right here and it looks too dark. Yeah, I could just pick away at this for like, thanks. I wonder about it. I think I could do better. I really do. If I had more time, as far as quit. I need to quit. As far as getting it more accurate to the reference photo, but stellar. Thank you. I appreciate it. Really, truly, I appreciate it. You have no idea. Even though I have enough hours to be monetized, I am waiting on YouTube, and July has not been a real high month on numbers, and I know it's because of a combination of things. People are outside more. I'm not offering enough variety. You know, it's like all of it. So if you can hit the like button and sub if you haven't already, it helps a great deal. All right, all. I'm going to see y'all later. Take care. Be safe. I appreciate you more than you know. I am ending the stream, and we'll see you next time. Monday is Master Stuff.